Hello again folks, and here's your 10-day update on the lockdown allotment challenge. And just to prove that this is live, it's ongoing, I'm going to do a 10-day update just to show how I'm getting on with these small beds. Remember, the beds themselves are only 1 metre long by about 1.2 metres wide, so 3 by 4.5 feet in old monies. And this is where we are 10 days in. It's totally and utterly live, so let's have a look. We're going to start with the Brassica bed. You can see I've put my framework in so I can get my netting over the top because I've got trees at the back, and those wonderful pigeons are having a look at my brassicas and really want to get in there and start to dive in and eat them. So I'm going to be protecting them as soon as possible. If we get Charlotte to come in with the camera, we can see that sprouts have started to germinate. The second row along is cabbage that I actually directly sowed into the soil, and I've thinned them out a little bit. And then the third row is transplants, so I've grown these into pots and just planted them in, left them in the toilet roll. And additionally, what will go into this bed is some cauliflower and some calabrese. So that will be my Brassica bed over and done with. So already I've got quite a lot going on. If we move on to the second bed, then this is one of two beds I'm dedicating to legumes and roots. And you can instantly see that the peas that we sowed are well up, and they're doing really well, folks. I'm putting some fleece on this bed at night, not to protect them really from frosts and things like that, because they're quite hardy. It's really to protect against birds when I'm not around. And I've put some salad leaf in there as well at the corner. I am going to sow some beetroot and some radish into this bed as well as I've got some Tom Thumb transplant lettuce to come out and start to pop in here, so we can harvest in around about 2 weeks time. The third bed continues on with the legumes and the roots theme. And the carrots have taken quite a long time to come through, but you can actually see here that they are coming through and they're starting to germinate. So you can see right there, here's my carrots, look, starting to come through. And it's so exciting when once you get this stuff going on, folks. And I've got 2 rows of carrots. My beans are not showing any signs yet, but I'm not surprised with that. They'll stay in the ground for a little while and then pop their heads through, and I will have to give them a little bit of protection. But look at the onions. The onions are doing really well, so they're coming along quite nicely. So again, in a couple of weeks time, I'll be able to harvest some of those as green onions, like a spring onion, and then let the rest grow away, so that in June, July, when I'm having my barbecue and my burger, I'll have a really nice round onion to eat, to pop onto the burgers. The potato plot behind me, not doing much at all. But as we said in the video, you know, if you're an impatient gardener, then you need to wait for potatoes. Everything's happening underground, and once we get some life, I'll show you that. But I've got a surprise for you guys that are following me, because in the first couple of episodes, we actually said that we were going to devote a bed across the back fence to fruit, and I've managed to buy myself some fruit. So I've got a whole range of things here. I've got some gooseberries, I've got thornless blackberries, I've got some raspberries, I've got some goji berry. But I've been a gardener now for around about 30 years, and I've always wanted to treat myself to one particular plant. And that plant is the blueberry. So I bought myself a blueberry, which I'm actually going to pop into a pot and get going, because we love blueberries in the house. So that's going to be get going. I'm going to show you how that's done. I'm going to dig this border out. We're planning a hardy annual border, so we have some, you know, some nice cottage garden plants going on to encourage pollinators and things like that, bees into this garden space to help pollinate the plants. So we'll move on now and have a look at some other things that are happening. My transplants and things like that are here. So I've got some salad leaf, I've got some peas that are coming through, and I've got some additional cabbage that's actually coming through. I've got some tomatoes that are not quite germinated yet, but they will take a couple of weeks. And then Charlotte's runner beans, look, have started to germinate. They're starting to come through. So I've even got family members having a go with me. Moving on, potatoes in pots, not showing anything yet. Again, not a surprise. I popped some onion sets into a pot, and they're doing really well. And again, in a couple of weeks time we can harvest these and effectively be using them as green onions, or we can just pull the bulb and you have 2 or 3 on your salads, things like that. If you haven't got space for that, you see folks, that's the, you know, try to provide some alternatives. If you've got an old margarine tub, look, and just pop them on your windowsill, then effectively, look at that, you know, you'll have green onions, and keep doing it, then you'll have green onions for the rest of the summer. The final thing to look at in this particular part of the garden is our liquid feeds that we made in our episode. So first of all, let's have a look at the tea. Get my mixing stick first. So here's the tea, and we need to give it a good stir once a week, remember. Get a good vortex, and with all of these things, the more oxygen you get into it, the better it will be. So there's tea done. The second one along, which you'll like to see, is the borage. There it is, and again, get a good vortex, and look at that. It's like a wonderful green pea soup. Wonderful stuff. Lovely borage. Now, this is the one that you'll love, because this smells to high heaven. Here's the nettle. There it is. Let's give it a stir. And again, try and get that vortex working, look. But I wish you could smell this. This is putrid, folks. But it's going to be wonderful for your plants. And that greeny brown lushness is full of nitrogen. Going to give you so much leafy green growth at the end of the day. Now finally, just to prove that we've got no glass house, nothing like that, we're going to have a walk along and see what's on the kitchen windowsill. So follow me down the garden path. And here we go. This is how we've been propagating things. We've got lovely beans coming through. I've got some chilies in a pot so that we can grow some hair and cut hair at the end of the day, and a nice little man's face on there. We've got some peppers, there is some tomatoes coming through, and some lettuce on the windowsill. There's Charlotte, if you can see her. Have a wave, Charlotte. And that's about it really for the report. That's our 10-day report. That's where we're at in the lockdown allotment challenge. You know, in 10 days time I'll report again on a whole host of things, how things are moving forwards. I hope you're having a go. I really hope that you're finding the videos really helpful, and do what you know you can achieve, folks. If it's on a windowsill, if it's in a small plot, or even in a pot, just have a go and grow yourself some food, become self-sustaining, and effectively get through the lockdown. It won't be here forever, and you'll surprise yourself with results. Keep gardening, folks, and well done to all you guys that keep tuning in.